you go to?
Ow.
What did you do?
I bumped my knee.
Oh.
Welcome to Less Than Zero.
Bumped the knee. Sorry.
Crushed my knee.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Need a hug later.
Oh, want me to kiss it better?
Nah, it's all right. It's just a knee. My name's Blaine. Lovely wife Shelley is joining me today. Less Than Zero is the name of this show because Jonathan Barry is not in it. Well, you're over there making
acting Jonathan Barry. Oh, too much noise.
Lots of noise.
Sorry.
Yes. New format for the Down in a Hole channel every once in a while. If John cannot make it, or if we decide to come down here and do things, we're going to call it something else. We came up with the word Less Than Zero because that is a Typo Negative song. And Typo Negative is awesome. So now that the camera issue's been fixed, hard cut for no reason. Less Than Zero is the name of this. That's what we're going to call it, and that's what we're going to go with. We watched a movie a couple weeks ago.
We did. It was a good one.
A whole bunch of people watched the same movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Prey.
And a lot, yeah.
It was the
prequel. Right?
Oh, I guess it wasn't really. We can say it was a prequel, but I think the cool thing with the Predator universe is that they can go anywhere in time, and it's technically not a prequel of any kind. It's
no.
Like he's always been around.
Mm-hmm. That's great, because then you can always make them. They can always be different. They're not stuck to one thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get dry and boring, and you're not like, oh God, not another Predator movie.
Yeah, like another Predator movie that takes place in 2021, and another Predator that takes place in 2023. And it's like they went back to the year, what was it, like 1617?
I can't remember.
16...
I didn't make notes.
Yeah, I think it was the 1600s.
You didn't tell me I needed notes.
You can make notes if you want.
I didn't make notes. So we're winging it. Well, too late now.
Damn it. It's 300 years in the past. So yeah, I think it was 1700. I think it, you know what it was? I think it was the 17th century, which means it was the 1600s. It doesn't matter.
It was a long time ago.
It was a long, long time ago on this planet, not a galaxy far away. And I really liked the movie.
Yes, it was a good movie.
Dan Trachtenberg directed it. And I thought it was cool. I mean, it didn't, everybody was saying it was going to like replace like the original. It's better than the original Predator.
No.
They all kind of stand by themselves.
The original Predator is still one of the best.
Yeah. You can't beat the original.
I didn't mind Predators when they went to another planet. That was interesting. I liked that.
That was the Robert Rodriguez one.
Yeah, that was actually, I like Robert Rodriguez, but that was a really good one. I liked the storyline for that one, being in a different planet and then kind of like being on their ground, the Predator's ground, instead of, on Earth.
Was it the Predator planet?
It was a planet they chose. I don't know if it was their planet, because they were dropping in everything, right? So even those weird dog things that they used to track them and hunt them, they were dropping everything from the sky in crates.
Right.
So I don't know if it was a planet that they just decided to use, or if it was in fact their planet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a feeling they might have
didn't
just
see any civilization except for a lot of trees.
I think they may have just chosen a planet for a battleground.
And they just had to make it hospitable for humans, or we wouldn't have lived long enough.
Because they wanted the most elite, like humans, and that's why they handpicked all these different people and
different
chucked
killers
them all in there. Yeah. Yeah, they were all killers of some kind.
Of some kind.
Assassins.
Whether they were illegal or whether or not they were military or hired, or just serial killers.
So Prey was an Indian tribe, right? The Native American tribe known as the Comanche.
Yes.
And the girl had to, fight the thing. Spoiler alert, I don't care.
Yeah.
Watch the movie, it's great. We're going to talk about it, and it's going to wreck it for you if you haven't seen it. It's good. It's a Predator movie. There was a weird thing though, because I read a couple articles on like IGN and even watched a video with Red Letter Media. Love that channel.
I love Red Letter Media.
But they were all comparing it to as the movie progresses And I really liked her and her brother, like that little family vibe. And then the other guys were kind of dicks to her and stuff. But
yeah, but her brother was always trying to give her a shot because he knew that she was a smart cookie.
Yeah, and she was trying to figure out how to battle this thing and how to beat it.
Well, she was also stepping out of the traditional women role where she wanted to hunt, and the women would collect the herbs that they needed for medicines, or instead of doing the idea of women work, she wanted to hunt, and she said it's because you think I can't.
Yeah. Why do you want to hunt so bad?
Because you think I can't.
Because you think I can't. She proved them wrong.
Well, good idea to have an extra hunter or two, because seriously, you're gonna need food.
Yeah, that was such a cool movie too.
It was really good.
Shot really good, and people get on them with the CGI. I didn't have a problem with the CGI.
I was one of those people because I'm used to the original Predator. And mind you, there was practical in this one as well with the Predator.
Yeah.
But I was used to the original Predator where it was all practical, including the face, all practical. And I kind of missed that.
I remember you saying that with the face.
With the face. And it was a different type of Predator.
But when he had that protective mask on, that was an actual prosthetic thing.
Yes.
But then when he takes the mask off, it is an animated face.
Yeah, and I really liked the practical effect of the first one. But we're not, by no means is it a no-go for me.
I think they hit a home run.
I think they did a really good job.
Yeah.
Even with the CGI included in the practical effects, I still quite enjoyed it. So.
That's the line too. I find it always makes the CGI work when it's a combination of the two. Mm-hmm. If the Predator was 100% CGI, fuck that. It would have been garbage.
Well, look at all the shark movies with the 100% CGI sharks that we watch. Like
some of them are so good.
Some of them are really bad.
But some of them are so good.
And some of them are really good. I mean, even Jaws practical. Mm-hmm. Jaws was shot practical. They made it. And the ones that they didn't, they actually had real shark footage filmed underwater. They hired two experts who do filming underwater to actually film sharks in their natural habitat to be able to add to the movie. Mm-hmm. So you have both.
So when you have your fake shark and then you have your real shark on screen, it really just helps make it like a believable movie. And that's what I liked about Prey. I understand like working with animals is tough. So like the elk and stuff and the bear.
Oh yeah. And plus for safety.
They look a little janky, but
for
at least
safety.
If you were working with a bear, you might have to try to shoot that scene for a week. They tried to shoot that scene for a couple hours, and they just CGI a bear in there, and the bear is flawless because the bear listens when you animate it.
And can we give a shout out to the dog who actually had to act against a CGI creature who was not there, and the dog did fabulous.
Yeah, the only real animal in the whole movie was the dog.
Well, the dog was probably CGI'd in some areas because of the.
I think when he was chasing the deer.
Yeah, he was probably CGI'd there. But I mean, for an animal to act against a green screen or a nothing, that's pretty good. Because I don't know, I couldn't do it. I can barely film this, because I'm looking at the wrong spot. I'm looking at the monitor in front of me instead of the camera.
The funny thing too about the movie, everybody was reviewing it at the end because at the end there's a scene where. Was it the fur traders?
Yes.
That had it was
the fur traders.
The revolver.
The flint. The flint pistol, yes.
Yeah.
It was the fur traders who had it, and he traded it to her
and you
to
picked
help
up
him
on
save his life.
Because I've only seen the second Predator like a couple times.
Oh my goodness, I was waiting. It's amazing of the stuff that you can pick out of the second Predator. Mm-hmm. Way back when we had VCR, and I had to pause VCR. I knew that there was going to be an AVP coming back in the when was the second one shot? 90 something? 90? Yeah. So like 92. I couldn't believe it. I was watching Danny Glover.
No, wasn't it 80s?
I can't remember. It was a long time ago. I think I had to wait 14 years for an AVP, but I knew it was going to happen.
Why?
Well, because I saw the Predator's skull.
1990.
So back in 1990, when Danny Glover is on the ship battling against the Predator, they pan over and you see all of the skulls that the Predator has kept as trophies from all their best fights. And the alien skull is there.
Yeah, the xenomorph.
The xenomorph is there. So back in 1990, with, VCR pause and getting the tracking right, because everybody remembers the tracking button, I saw it. And I'm like, holy crap.
You're just like, wait, did they kill the xenomorph?
Crap.
And you're rewinding it, trying to pause it.
And so at that time, I knew that we would get an AVP, and I had to wait a very, very, very long time for that one. But in that episode, there was he was gifted the flintlock pistol
because Danny Glover was able to actually down a predator in their own spaceship. He
killed a predator. It was a fair fight, according to what I can believe their culture, and to reward him for being the warrior, because they don't just fight anybody. They pick specific places, specific prey. They want something that can fight them back. So they don't go after, easy stuff. They're hunters, and it's a rite of passage for their young men, or young people, because there could be ladies, to go from much like the Comanche had to going from their youth to becoming an adult. So for a young boy to become a man, they have to engage in a battle against a foe that is either as good or better.
Yeah,
and they have to win.
And in Prey, the brother caught the cougar.
That was his rite of passage. So when he came back, they went, oh, wow, look, he caught the cougar that was killing the people from the village. That's your rite of passage. You're no longer a boy. You're a man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming. I don't know anything truly about the heritage or their rights, but as a person looking in, that's what I would assume.
That's
was
how they
happening.
depicted it in the movie.
Yeah, and that was what they did.
You're not a boy anymore. You're a man.
That's what they did with the revolver, or not the revolver. See, you said revolver. Now I'm saying revolver.
Yes.
It's not a revolver. That's what they did with the pistol when they gave it to the Danny Glover character in the 1990 Predator 2, because that flintlock is the same flintlock that's in the Prey movie.
Yeah,
that she was given from the fur trapper to aid him in mending his leg so he wouldn't die. So he taught her how to use it, thinking, of course, that would be a superior weapon for her to use against the predator, which it wasn't. She stuck to what she knew. Her weapons, knowing what she did, was way more effective.
She didn't know how to use a gun.
And if you remember from the original Predator movie with the lovely Arnold, he can't see natural made stuff. So when guns and everything else failed, Arnold went back to nature. He went back to making things out of vines, out of trees, out of stuff like that, because it was harder.
Wouldn't see that as
no,
a weapon.
You wouldn't see it.
It's just part of the environment.
They put a lot of lovely little teasers in that too, even about the fact that the cooling down of the skin makes it harder for the predator to see the infrared. So having cold skin.
I like that little bit of a curveball they threw too when she goes back to that mud pit at the end. And you're like, oh, she's just going to bury herself in the mud. And,
but that's not what she did.
But no,
that orange flower
trapped him in it.
Yes, she trapped him in it, and she used it.
Yeah, and then what was it? Because she's like saying, like, "Come on, I'm right here, come get me."
Same.
Because she knew he was going to pull out his harpoon weapon, but she had stolen his helmet previously. Because
she watched how it worked.
So he fires the harpoon. Well, now the helmet turns on to track it, and the thing ended up spinning around, flies through the jungle, and the harpoon, he shot himself in the head.
But she still, in fact...
It was such a cool ending. Like I said,
it was really good.
Spoiler, it's your fault for watching this. But the weird thing I found about, like we were saying about Red Letter Media and all these other guys, is they were saying how she had the pistol, she came back with the head of the Predator, and they're like, oh man, that pistol's in Predator 2 in 1990. They must have come to that, that tribe must have got what was coming, and they would have come back down, because in the credit sequence, they have a little animation, like a drawing, where you, at the last second, you see the ships come through the clouds.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, the Predator have come to slaughter all the Comanche and take that gun.
No.
And I'm like,
Negative.
And you're like, yeah, because you brought this up that like they would never do that because we're watching like Red Letter Media said it, and a thing that I read on IGN said it. They wouldn't come and slaughter the Comanche.
No,
they don't kill innocent, like defenseless people. And why? For a fucking pistol?
They came to collect their dead.
That's like inferior technology.
They came to collect their dead, and if you saw in the Predator 2, and even in AVP, the first one, they give gifts or rewards for being the superior warrior. So in Predator 2, Danny Glover got said pistol that the young native lady had. So that was his gift. That was his reward for being the superior warrior. And in AVP, when the young lady beat down the queen alien, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And sadly, the predator ends up passing away. But the elder from the predator, they did. And he came down and he gave her a gift. He gave her that spear.
Yeah.
Remember? So when they came down to collect the young man, I think it was a young man, young warrior, when they came to collect the young warrior, because he completed his task, because he was supposed to come down and to kill the aliens. She assisted in the destruction of the aliens and actually helped the young warrior out. So the elders of the Predator tribe gave her a gift, gave her a spear that was theirs. So only being what I would consider is that in Prey, when they come back,
why does the Predator have the gun? How did they get it to give it to Danny Glover? Like you're saying, they came down
to collect the body of their dead. Now the worst,
he lost.
He lost.
Had to come get him.
She probably had to return his head. Unless they let him keep it, because don't forget, predators keep heads as trophies, right? So maybe they let her keep it.
Possible.
They would have come back to reclaim their past young warrior, and I think that they probably gave her a token, a souvenir from them, and maybe they had traded, and that's how.
That's what I think.
That's how he ended up with said pistol.
Yeah, because
I don't think they would. Why would they come down and annihilate a village full of women and children? Because there were very little young men left, because they killed them all. The only thing that was left was the older chief.
Yeah, for them, and it wasn't a fight because they weren't in that battle.
No.
So
and none of them were armed.
And the way that like the native tribes would have operated too is like, if they came down and they collected their dead warrior and like, damn girl, you're really good, and they gave her like a cool gauntlet or something as a present. As Native American tribe, she's like, oh, I guess I have to trade for this. Gave them the gun. They gave her something cool,
and then they went off on their way.
And then they came across the guy who was badass 300 years later. Damn, yo, here's the gun. Here's this gun. Now, so these other reviewers to say that they would have came down and slaughtered everybody just to take this inferior weapon.
I don't think that's the case at all. Because in all the other shows, that's not what they did.
No, they deserve to live because you won the fight.
Yeah, you're the superior warrior.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's the Predator that's a superior warrior or something else or someone else. I mean, they've been all over, so they've probably battled other forms of life forms as well.
How did he? How did the brother die?
The Predator.
He sacrificed himself in Prey, right? Like at the end, they were both fighting him.
Yeah.
And then she had to go so she could finish the fight. And I think he took him on head on and took the hit, right?
Oh yeah, like right up through. He demolished him. Yeah.
They were picking him apart though. It was an awesome movie. I really liked the movie. And
I thought it was great.
We had to talk about it. Just because that people thinking that the predators they would have come down in their spaceship and annihilated that village.
I don't think that's what would happen. And
it's totally that way. They traded it up.
And the only person that would actually really know is the person who wrote it.
Yeah.
So.
And I have a feeling.
I would like to think that they would stick to the tradition of the other movies, like stick to the timeline of the other movies, stick to what happened of the other ones.
Yeah,
and
why would they have
same.
That credit sequence with the at the last second?
Because everybody's like, oh my goodness, they just annihilated that whole tribe. I don't think that's what they did.
They didn't do that. There's no damn way they did that. They traded because she's a badass, and that movie was good. So if you haven't seen it, don't bother watching it now because you know.
No, we told you all about it.
But you should have watched it before you watched this because I always label
Predator too.
And Predator, just watch them all. They're all fun.
Some of them are more fun than others.
They're all
but
fun.
You know, hey, it's like
wait, Predator. The Predator.
Yeah.
The one that came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Was probably the dumbest one.
Well, there's AVP. Don't forget.
Yeah, but the AVP movies are still fun because you get the aliens in there.
The second one was kind of.
Yeah.
What?
The worst one was The Predator, the 2012.
Which was directed by a guy who was in the first Predator.
Shane Black.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. But you know, you got to love them all because if you're a big fan, now as Predator, you have to watch all of Aliens. And it has, I mean, people don't like the Resurrection one, and I do personally. I like Alien Resurrection. I liked
that made it good.
I liked I liked that one. I thought the storyline was pretty cool.
I think the Predator franchise and like as a monster,
oh, I like him.
He is probably my favorite.
I really like him
just because of how they operate.
I'd still have to go with Pumpkinhead. Sorry.
Yeah, but see, he's just a monster.
He is.
Where the Predator, like you said, they pick their battles.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, it's cool. As a monster.
Oh, that's a totally different video.
That's a totally different video, but that would be Pumpkinhead for me. I really like Pumpkinhead.
So we were going to call this, or the name of this segment underneath the Down in a Hole umbrella is called Less Than Zero. So thank you for watching Less Than Zero. Thank you to the lovely Shelley, whom I married on Halloween a couple years ago. What was the date?
The 2020. 31st.
The 31st.
Yeah.
That's Halloween. You forgot.
I did not forget.
You forgot.
I don't forget Halloween. I would never forget Halloween.
It is awesome.
That's our next topic.
Thank you for watching us talk about Prey. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
On the dark side?
Of the moon.